Yeah, I'm soldering the wires. I had to extend the wires. I used this glue, E6000. It's really, really secure. I've already soldered a couple of these pins. I had to extend the wires. They weren't coming all the way. They didn't necessarily have to come all the way out, but they were so far back in there I couldn't. The solder wasn't going to make the connection, I don't think. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the heat to the pin itself to get it kind of hot to start with, and then I'm going to roll this over to the wire. I don't want to melt the solder that's on the wire that's connecting the two wires until it's time. Well, I don't want to melt it at all, but I want to flow some solder there and get a little bead up there. As you can see, that's probably okay. And I'm going to have to file those off anyway. I got to cut the wires off and file them off because those connections are flat, and maybe this will work, and if it doesn't, we'll be looking for a new tube. And they're out there. I've already looked, and they are kind of pricey. But, well, with a radio like this, we definitely want to make it work. Let's see. I would need a little bit more extra solder on that to be able to file it down. I want to beat it up a little bit. I believe that's okay. Now what I want to do is clip those wires and start filing that down, see what it looks like. File the ends off a little bit. I don't know if I got that exactly straight, but it's just going to have to do. But I filed those down, so now we can put it in and see if it works. We know the filaments are okay, we think, but is the plate and the grid, are those in the right position? I put them in the same order of appearance coming out. I don't know if they were crossed or what. I just don't know. I had to just think that they came out the way they were supposed to. And we'll see. We're going to try that tube. And what I plan on doing is putting it in the number 4 slot. That way I don't have the transformers in there. And if things go wrong, it won't take anything out but some minor components. You're probably not hearing me well because I've got it right here. Maybe you're hearing it. But let's try the new tube. I'm just going to unplug the radio, change the tubes, and plug it right back in without doing anything. And we'll see if there's any difference in the signal. I can actually hear it standing up here, and I know you're hearing it better because I can hear the headphones from here now. So that tube is working much better than this one. And that's one of the things we're going to have to do, is we're going to have to arrange these tubes. So now I think we can put all the tubes in and put a speaker on it. And I want to try it without the transformers. I got the transformers in, by the way. And I want to show you something real quick. Here is where it mounts on the bottom side. Okay? Those holes line up. These are going to bolt exactly where the old transformers were. You may not be able to hear me. That thing is so loud over there because I can hear it and I'm 3 feet away. Got all the tubes in it. I borrowed a power supply from my partner in crime, Josh, W4FLI, Tinkering with Electronics, his YouTube channel. Hooked up a speaker. Maybe you can hear it in the background. I'm giving it all she's got, Captain, right now. But there's the signal. On 970. And I still don't have the transformers in. What I want to do is now the volume is not rattling my speakers, but I can hear it if there's not a lot of other noise going on, like I've got the oscilloscope fan going, and I can hear it. It's low in the background. And I really think that the volume will increase when I get everything in, whatever. Now, I've tried to pick up some of the other stations. I haven't been able to, and that may be just because the tubes are 100 years old and there's just not enough gain at this point in time. But by putting the power supply on the filaments to keep it from sagging, I'm getting a better reception, and that tube really does help in that extra stage. Here's what I plan to do. I'm going to, before I put the transformers in, I'm going to put a amp meter in line with the plates of these tubes in those circuits to see what the plates are drawing. For a couple of reasons. Number one, to make sure that it's not going to exceed the current ratings of the two transformers that I'm just bought, and also for future generations or whatever anybody else wants to, they'll know what I guess is typical. And then I did this test without putting the transformers in, just to see what the volume is, to compare if any gain is from the transformers, which I really believe when I put those transformers in, I will have more volume out of this speaker. So I'll bring you back when the time comes and we'll go from there. Okay, experiment time. Radio's playing. Not sure if you can hear it or not. Got it tuned the best I can. I was able to insert some amp meters. This one is between the detector and the first audio tube on the plate of the detector. This one is between the first audio tube and the final amplifier tube. As you can see, it's 0.7 or 3/4 of a milliamp, and this is 1.5 milliamps. So unless when I put the transformers in and something goes totally haywire, should be plenty of current capacity of those transformers. They're rated for 10 milliamps. So I'm going to go ahead and put the don't try all this at home. It looked like a rat's nest up there. But I thought that would be an interesting experiment to see what the current of those tubes, the plates of those tubes, will be the plates of this tube and the plate of this tube, detector, and the first audio amp. So let me put the transformers in, and I am approximately 3 feet from the speaker. The microphone is approximately 3 feet from the speaker, and we'll see if it gets any louder with the transformers. I've put the transformers in. I mounted them. I'll show you later how I mounted them. I ended up mounting them using the hardware from one of the old ones, and the reason I did is to keep the hardware with the radio. And if I decide, and talking to a couple of guys about winding these transformers, we'll see. If I wind them, they wind them, or somebody will wind them, maybe, and we'll put those back in, make it more original. That's for a later date. But I left one of the leads up on each one of the transformers to check the current. The one on the right is the detector, right at 1 milliamp. And the first audio amp is pulling about 2 milliamps, which it's a little bit more, but you would think there's more signal being driven into the amplifier and causing more amplification, so it would in theory pull more current. But now I have adjusted the knobs. I'm really not sure how you line them up, but I did shoot a 580 signal into this and set it down right around 10 on all these. So then when I went back to 970, I'm somewhere around 7, 65, and 85. Now, I don't know. It's relative. But I'm not sure where or how you're supposed to set these. Maybe someone out there can tell me that. I do have a little bit of volume left before it goes into oscillation or regen. Same speaker. You get up, starts distorting. Of course, that is a close station. So right there is where I would be comfortable with it. And I'm going to get about 3 feet again. So I think you can tell there is a difference. Now, is it hi-fi? No, but I don't think these were. And I think these were mainly made for horns, which is like a megaphone. I can turn that down. But anyway, the transformers definitely did boost the signal, and there's a lot more to happen here. I'm going to show you how I put the transformers in, and I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the meters and go ahead and permanently solder those in. And you have to tune it a little bit. And that's like the old days of remote control. Here, son, get up there and tune that radio for me. But anyway, thought I'd give you an update. I think it's sounding pretty good considering it's 100 years old. I thought I would try the Atwater Kent speaker. I think it may be a little bit more time period, and the impedance is a little bit higher. It's a better match. So we're getting a lot more volume out of the radio now. I still hadn't hooked up the transformers. I still have, but a lot more volume. So that's just a better impedance match for that output tube. Here I've installed the 2 transformers. And as I said, I put the standoffs on this one just to keep the hardware in the radio. This one just bolted with some brass screws. And if we choose to rewind those other transformers, we will put those in there. And I really want to rewind those, whether I do it or someone else does it. But I think it would be really neat, especially a radio this old, to try to have time period transformers in there. So I'm going to reach out and talk to some folks and see what we can come up with. But in the meantime, we can play with this, and maybe tonight see if I can receive a little bit more than that one station. I'm receiving that one station really good, so I'm really pleased with that. And the speaker, it's Atwater Kent. The coil on it is about 1200 ohms DC, which makes it about 3000 ohms or so. So it gives it a little bit better matching than the that RCA speaker. So I get a little bit more volume out of it. I've got the transformers in, and I was running into an issue where all I could pick up was that one station. I could only get the local one, which was 4 miles away. So I got to thinking, what's the deal? Was the radio station so strong that it was desensing the whole band? Was it the 100-year-old tubes that just wasn't up to snuff? I was using my antenna, which is a double bazooka, which was I use it on ham radio. I feed it with 50 ohm coax, and it's made out of coax. And the double bazooka antenna was developed for radar use back in the early 40s, in the early stages of radar, and then adapted for ham radio back in the 50s. And I use it, but it used a lot of capacitive reactance in the tuning part of it. So I got to thinking maybe that wasn't an adequate long wire. Maybe that really wasn't a good antenna. I could take and I could feed a signal in to 580, which is another radio station up the road, and I could hear my signal on the radio. I just wasn't able to receive it. So that sparked me into putting up a long wire. So I put up about 120 feet of wire, up about 40 feet today, and now there's 580 up the road. I can now get 3 stations, local stations, and it's still daylight. It's 6 p.m. But this is 580, and then we'll go up here and hopefully find. There's 790, my local station, and then if I'm really good, I can go on up here and almost, there's one in Dayton, and I've received it today right up here. But the sun is still out, so I'm waiting for dark, and I think I'll be able to receive a lot more. So I think I've got the issues worked out in this. Now, I thought it might be the phasing of those transformers. So I went and looked and tried to figure out how to phase them. So I used my oscilloscope and I phased them and put them in there, and didn't do any good. So I put that antenna on, everything was good. So then I tried different phases, going back and forth, changing the phases to there. Did not affect it at all. It works the same. it was basically the antenna, or the lack thereof, a good antenna. Got a good earth ground and a good long wire antenna up fairly high. So that was the difference. Okay, it's about 8:20 in the evening. I thought I would come down here and see we could just give this a test drive and see what we can come up with. This was the day when you had to drive the radio, you know. You can still, the waves are still coming in. You can hear that. The atmosphere's not settled down yet. Had a lot of noise today too. Look at the selectivity of this. There's like 3 stations right in a row here.
This is about half the size of the old one, but it's 40% more efficient, and it's absolutely silent.
Music in between them.
County turns to Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Ray County's insurance company. Remember, you don't have to be a farmer.
That's the local station.
The local Edward Jones Financial Advisor. I could help you create.
I had that noise all day. Start back at 50.
But with the decline of religion, the decline of theology, secularization, publishing is abdicating its responsibility.
All right. That antenna really made a big difference. I think if I would wait another couple hours, I'd really get some better stations. To let the atmosphere calm down a little bit as the sun goes down. But I think we're going to end this video right here. In the next one, I'm going to clean up the knobs somewhat, try to recover these letters a little bit, fix that cabinet. If you'll remember, some of the blocks need to re-glue that, and find some screws that'll match this to put this back in there. Now, in the future, I'm working on getting either, it is leaning more towards somebody else rewinding the transformers for me. I'm not going to hold this series open. We'll go ahead and finish this out and get it back in the case and call it done for now, and then have another series where the transformers get rewound and get put back in, and then we can compare how they perform over these here. So I appreciate everybody hanging with me and watching the videos and making all the great comments. So from Larry from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.
They do, and they found out what works. And since we started the game, I'm telling you, man, did they figure out